You think your enemy wears a scowl? Think again. The most dangerous person in your life might be the one who compliments your outfit and remembers your favorite coffee. Some threats don't come with warning signs. They come with a smile. Let's be clear about something right from the start. The real danger isn't the person throwing side eyes across the room. It's the one who greets you with warmth, shares a laugh over lunch, maybe even surprises you with your favorite drink, while secretly wishing you'd vanish from their world forever. Sounds like something out of a thriller. Maybe. But reality has a funny way of being darker and stranger than fiction. Right now, yes, even as you watch this, someone in your circle could be silently crafting your downfall. And the terrifying part? You probably wouldn't even realize it until it's already too late. See, open hatred is easy to identify, but a masked grudge, hidden behind filtered smiles and casual charm, that's the kind of thing that slips right past your defenses. This video isn't designed to scare you. It's designed to protect you, because what you're about to learn isn't based on rumors or gut feelings. It's grounded in real psychological patterns. You're about to uncover 5 chilling yet often overlooked signs that someone doesn't just dislike you. They want you gone, completely, erased from the picture. And here's the twist. Most people miss these warning signs. Why? Because we've been taught to brush off quiet discomfort, to label suspicion as paranoia. But make no mistake, those who intend harm often count on that doubt. They weaponize your hesitation, your desire to see the best in others. So before we go any further, do something that could save you from blind trust. Hit that subscribe button, because after this you'll never look at friendly the same way again. Now let's step into the shadows, starting with sign number 1, the silent observer. This isn't your average Instagram stalker or the chatty neighbor with nothing better to do. No, this type is far more calculated and chilling. These people don't just keep tabs on you, they study you, your daily patterns, your routines, your weaknesses, with the kind of focus that feels more like surveillance than curiosity. You might think it's harmless when someone casually remembers your coffee order, except you never told them. Remember the man who kept showing up at the right place at the right time, uninvited? His story isn't over yet, and it's about to take a darker turn. They had broken up months earlier. She thought maybe he was just struggling to let go. But as time passed, she realized this wasn't just random. He wasn't simply hanging around nearby. He knew exactly where she'd be before she got there. She changed gyms, took a different route to work, even started shopping at different stores. But no matter how she shifted her routine, he reappeared. No confrontations, no threats. Just silent, steady presence, like a shadow glued to her path. Her friends dismissed it, thinking it was nothing more than obsession, but they were wrong. What she finally came to understand, it wasn't obsession, it was premeditation. This kind of behavior has nothing to do with closure or reconciliation. It's about control. It's about eliminating every variable before making a move. Philosophers like Epictetus warned against assuming that appearances are harmless. He taught that a wise person isn't just alert to others, but vigilant in protecting their own inner peace and sense of order. And when something disturbs that peace, especially a person who seems to know too much or shows up too often without explanation, it's not the time to make excuses. It's the time to investigate. We live in a hyper-connected world where surveillance no longer requires a van parked outside your house. Now, it just takes a social media account, a few mutual friends, and daily habits we don't guard as carefully. as we should, and the most dangerous people, they're not the ones who explode in public. They're the ones who smile politely, while quietly keeping track of your every move. This isn't about fear. It's about discernment. The Stoics taught that wisdom begins with clear observation and ends with decisive action. If someone keeps showing up in your life with no clear reason, especially when you haven't invited them in, that's not fate. That's a red flag. Pay attention to the patterns. Question the strange coincidences. And most importantly, trust your instincts. That uncomfortable feeling in your chest isn't paranoia. It's insight. When your soul feels unsettled, don't second guess it. Honor it. Because sometimes the most terrifying people aren't the ones who threaten you openly. They're the ones studying you in silence, waiting for the moment when you're not paying attention. Sign number 2, the saboteur strategy. Here's a disturbing truth. Studies in social psychology show that when someone hears a lie about another person, even if the lie is later proven false, it still leaves a negative impression. That's how powerful suggestion is. And that's exactly why the saboteur strategy is so dangerous. This isn't just about revenge. The saboteur doesn't just want to see you hurt. They want to see you isolated. They don't just go after you, they go after your entire support system. This isn't petty gossip. It's a calculated campaign of character assassination, executed with such subtlety that by the time you realize what's happening, the damage has already spread. They move like shadows, whispering into the right ears at just the right moment. To your boss, they suggest you're unreliable. To your friends, they imply that you've changed, that you've become toxic. They never make a full accusation. That would be too obvious. Instead, they plant seeds of suspicion, of doubt, of misunderstanding. And because every incident feels isolated, every moment seems unconnected, no one realizes they're part of a larger scheme. Even you may start to question your own reality. Why is everything falling apart at once? That's the core of the strategy. Calculated fragmentation. These people don't act on impulse, they act with intent. They orchestrate conflicts to make you appear unstable. They pull strings behind the scenes to make sure you're discredited, both professionally and personally. They pose as victims, or worse, as concerned friends, while quietly unraveling the trust others have in you. Their objective isn't merely to tarnish your reputation. No, it goes deeper. Their aim is to sever every lifeline you have, your support systems, your confidence, your emotional anchors, so that when they launch their final blow, you're standing completely alone. From a Stoic perspective, this strategy is particularly dangerous. Why? Because it strikes at the heart of what Stoicism urges us to build, an inner core of strength fortified by reason and clarity. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." But what happens when you're not facing a natural obstacle, but rather the calculated sabotage of someone operating in the shadows? That obstacle no longer becomes a lesson. It becomes a smokescreen, a toxic fog that clouds your judgment and path forward. And if you're not cautious, you'll begin to react instead of reflect. You'll get sucked into the drama, scrambling to defend your actions, explain your intentions, clear your name. But the more you speak, the guiltier you appear. Have you ever felt that? Like every word you say just makes things worse. That's why the Stoics emphasized awareness as your first and strongest line of defense. Don't chase down every rumor or try to extinguish every spark of gossip. Instead, root yourself in facts, in evidence. Maintain your integrity, yes, but also shield yourself with strategy. Document everything: messages, emails, timelines. Keep your truth sharp and keep your circle intentional. Most of all, hold on to this Stoic truth, echoed also in Scripture. Character is revealed over time, not in moments of chaos. Yes, people may be deceived for a season, but truth, like the soul, has a quiet endurance. It waits, it survives. So, when someone seems to haunt your life like a phantom, always near the conflict but never named, it's time to stop offering them the benefit of the doubt, because you're no longer dealing with a petty manipulator. You're staring down a silent strategist of destruction. And your first victory? It's simple but powerful. Refuse to play their game. Now, sign 3, the false friend facade. Here's where things take an especially dark turn. This third sign isn't just a red flag, it's a flashing warning. A deeply manipulative person may not show their hatred through open conflict, but through a mask of friendship. Yes, the false friend, one of humanity's oldest tricks, and still one of the hardest to detect. We've been taught that kindness is always a virtue, that warmth and familiarity must mean loyalty. But when someone goes from distant acquaintance to over-involved friend overnight, without any emotional history or clear reason, it's not time to celebrate. It's time to get curious and cautious. Because this isn't about trust, it's about access. Their concern isn't genuine, it's a performance, a carefully scripted act. They start asking oddly specific questions about your schedule, your relationships, your fears, even your past wounds. But they're not trying to help you heal. They're collecting data. They might grow close to your family. They linger around your workplace. They offer help with your errands, your plans, your problems. It feels generous. But their real intention, surveillance. Every personal story you share becomes a tool in their arsenal, another piece of leverage, another crack in your armor. What makes this manipulation so dangerous is how comforting it feels at first. Finally, someone who listens, who gets you, someone who wants to understand. But behind that warm exterior is a calculated mind, methodically mapping out your world with surgical precision. They're not building a friendship. They're constructing the fastest, quietest route to your most vulnerable places. From a Stoic lens, this is chilling. Seneca once warned, "A true friend is someone you entrust with your soul." But, he added, trust must be earned, never handed out just because someone smiles and nods. Stoicism teaches discernment, wise restraint, emotional boundaries. So if someone crashes into your life with sudden intensity, if their interest feels overwhelming, out of place, or oddly personal, pause and ask, what do they really want? Sometimes it's all too easy to confuse familiarity with friendship, but predators know this well. They'll mimic the way you speak, reflect your emotions, even share their own vulnerable stories, just enough to make you feel seen and safe. And that's when your guard drops. You start to open up. You feel like you found someone who truly gets you. But while you're talking like friends, this person is silently storing every piece of information you reveal. Like a spy, building a psychological profile of their target. They're in no rush. They remember every detail you offer. Your habits, your fears, your important relationships. Every word, every emotional crack. They're filing it away with precision. And the scariest part? They come wrapped in charm and empathy, wearing a smile that makes others trust them without hesitation. No one around you suspects a thing, not even you, until one day you realize you've said too much and you can't take it back. So what should you do? First, slow the relationship down. Protect your privacy as if your peace depends on it, because It truly does. Ask yourself, why is this person suddenly so interested in parts of my life they never cared about before? Real friendship doesn't demand urgency. It grows slowly with time and shared experience. Sabotage, however, hides in speed. And remember this: trust isn't just about who makes you feel safe when they're near. It's about who keeps you safe when you're not looking. A fake friend doesn't just want your loyalty. They want your soft spots, your vulnerabilities, and once they have enough, they'll know exactly where to hit. So yes, be kind, be warm, but never stop being wise. Because when evil wears a friendly face, it isn't connection, it's camouflage. Moving on to sign 4, escalating aggression. The fourth deadly sign, and perhaps one of the most terrifyingly overlooked, is what I call calculated escalation. When someone harbors intentions darker than mere hatred, they rarely start with violence. Instead, they test your reactions. Little by little, they condition you to accept behavior that becomes more disturbing over time. It often begins with subtle aggression, offhand jokes laced with unsettling undertones, remarks like, "I could kill you right now," followed by a chuckle. Or casual mentions of violence played off as edgy humor. But don't be fooled. These aren't just tasteless jokes. They're deliberate probes, crafted to gauge your fear and see where your boundaries lie. Let me share a true story that still sends shivers down the spines of seasoned investigators. In 2016, a young woman named Leah moved into a new apartment complex after landing her first job out of college. There she met Adam, a neighbor who came across as a bit awkward but friendly enough. At first, Adam seemed helpful. He'd offer to carry her groceries, join her in elevator rides, and ask oddly specific questions about her daily schedule. Leah felt a little uneasy but didn't think much of it. Then, during a small community cookout, Adam made a chilling comment. "I'd make the perfect killer. I know how to get rid of evidence." Everyone laughed. Leah, unsettled, brushed it off. But after that, things started to shift. Adam began showing up at the exact time Leah left for work. He brushed past her shoulder without a word of apology. He once stood in front of her apartment door, insisting he just needed to talk. And then came the night that changed everything. Leah came home to find a hunting knife neatly placed on her doormat. No note, no explanation, just the weapon. When she reported it, the authorities dismissed it as a prank. But Leah didn't. She took it seriously. She installed a camera outside her door, changed her locks, and began documenting every interaction. Within a month, her camera caught Adam at 2 a.m. trying to pick her lock. He was wearing gloves and carrying what appeared to be a black duffel bag. After his arrest, it was discovered that this man kept a detailed journal. In it, he tracked everything about Leah's movements, the places she frequented, the times. She was often alone, and most terrifying of all, a section labeled execution window. This is no longer speculation. This is the terrifying truth. Violent individuals often don't start with aggression. They begin with small, seemingly harmless behaviors designed to desensitize you emotionally. A seemingly silly joke, an accidental shove. But behind it all is a carefully scripted psychological play. The Stoics warned about this thousands of years ago. We must train our minds to anticipate evil, not out of fear, but out of awareness. As Seneca wrote, "He who is forewarned is forearmed." So if someone in your life repeatedly crosses the line and laughs it off, don't ignore it. If their jokes carry hints of threat, if they increasingly test your physical boundaries, if you sense they are observing your reactions more than connecting with you, that is not a quirk of personality. That is a red flag, and ignoring it could cost you more than just peace of mind. It could cost you your life. Sign 5. The patient predator. Now we come to sign number 5, and without question, the most dangerous. The patient predator. This is not the person who lashes out in anger, who leaves obvious threats, or acts erratically. Though this is the coldest kind of enemy, one who hides behind time. Their strength is not in their fists, it is in their patience. These individuals do not seek quick revenge or heated confrontation. They play what Stoic philosophers would call the long game, a game lasting months or even years. Every move is calculated, rehearsed, and timed to perfection. They can wait a very long time, waiting until you are completely off guard, until your trust runs deep. And when the moment comes, you won't have a chance to react. What makes them even more terrifying? They don't raise alarms, they earn your trust. They ask about your future plans, not out of genuine care, but out of strategy. They want to know when you'll be away, when you'll move, when you'll be alone. Every conversation is a chance to gather data. Every favor they do, every connection they build, are pieces in a larger puzzle of deception. They might be your reliable co-worker, your neighbor who waters your plants, or the friend who remembers your birthday better than your own family. But beneath that calm exterior is someone practicing the perfect betrayal. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, emphasized, the greatest threat is not what we see, but what we overlook when we naively assume the world is fair. He also said, first say to yourself what kind of person you want to be, then do what you must do to become that person. But when dealing with someone wearing a perfect mask, everything you see is designed to deceive. Their life is a performance. Their kindness is bait. The scariest part, these people rarely make mistakes. They don't strike when you're strong. They wait for your mistake, when your routine breaks, when your support system thins, when your guard drops. That's when they attack, and because you trusted them, you never saw it coming, until it was too late. So what can you do? Be slow to give deep trust, especially to those who seem to push closeness too quickly without reason. Guard your plans carefully. Protect your personal boundaries like a fortress. You can still be kind, but don't confuse kindness with blind access. The Stoic within you must stay vigilant, even when nothing seems wrong. Especially when nothing seems wrong. We just talked about the most dangerous enemies, the patient predators who silently manipulate and betray when you least expect it. But if you've sensed those signs in someone around you, the story doesn't end there. Saboteur, the false friend, the escalating aggressor, or the patient predator. Bring someone to mind, don't dismiss it. Don't convince yourself that you're overreacting or being too sensitive. Because if you truly see these signs in your life, you're not just facing ordinary negativity. You might be standing directly in the crosshairs of something far darker. So before this video ends, do 2 important things. First, save this video. You'll need to revisit it when your instincts start whispering warnings again. Second, don't forget to watch the next video about spotting covert narcissists, because these deadly tactics often go hand in hand with deeply manipulative personalities. Remember, knowledge is your first shield, but action is what keeps you alive. Stay alert, keep your boundaries strong, and above all, protect yourself. Let's be real. If your gut has been quietly warning you something isn't right, then this video has likely just given you the confirmation you didn't want to hear but seriously needed. These 5 signs aren't about drama. They're about survival. Because someone who simply hates you will roll their eyes or show annoyance. But someone who wants you gone will study you, sabotage you, smile to your face, escalate tensions, and wait patiently. That's not petty behavior. That's predatory. So if a certain nice person suddenly popped into your mind while watching this, don't ignore it. Your instincts exist for a reason. As the old saying goes, the devil doesn't come dressed with horns. He comes wrapped in everything you once wanted to trust. If this hits a little too close to home, do these 2 things right now. Subscribe to this channel so you're always one step ahead of the game, and share this video with someone who might still be in the dark. Because knowledge is your first line of defense, and sharing it might just save someone else's life too. Stay sharp, stay safe, and remember, it's not paranoia if someone really is planning your downfall. Trust wisely, and I'll see you in the next one.